Trailers are made for the sole purpose of getting your butt in that theater seat. Sometimes it's worth the wait, other times they just tricked you into seeing a crappy movie. And it's in that moment of realization when you come to see that the trailer was the best thing about that movie all along. So hey, I'm Nervous Nick for ScrewTech's Top 10 Trailers That Were Better Than the Movie.
Number 10.
You are as precious to me as you were to your own mother and father. I swore to them that I would protect you, and I haven't.
Out of everything on this list, The Dark Knight Rises is hands down the best actual movie. There's no doubt about that. But for me, it's also the living definition of a love-hate kind of film. The trailers did such a great job of giving a sense of unease, genuine fear for Bruce Wayne's life, and a grand finale for Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. But for all of the legitimate positives I can give The Dark Knight Rises, the trailers wisely left out a lot of not-so-great parts. Some of them are as small as Bruce's magic knee brace that lets him kick through brick pillars. Others are not so minor. Like how Gordon sends the entire Gotham police force into an obvious trap, or how Bane robbed a stock exchange on live TV and the transactions didn't get canceled for some reason. Or also how part 3 of a trilogy that's literally all about explaining how Batman does everything suddenly doesn't feel like it anymore, and Bruce just shows back up to a Gotham City on total lockdown. I'm so sorry, I'm still not over that. Like I said, The Dark Knight Rises has plenty to love, so it's going at the very bottom of this list. But still, it's a lesson that sometimes the hype for something is actually better than the thing itself.
My mother warned me about getting into cars with strange men.
This isn't a car.
Number 9.
Isn't it annoying when a trailer shows stuff that literally never happens in the movie? Hey, scenes get cut, movies get reshot, it happens. But almost never to the extent that it felt like with Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Like another movie you're gonna see later, Rogue One got some tweaks that changed it quite a bit from what we saw in the trailers. It was to the point where you really got the impression that this movie's first cut played out completely different at some point before release.
What will you become?
But hey, at least there's a fun little game we can play after seeing the final film. Go back to the trailers and play Spot the Things Disney Deleted. There's that shot, and there's that shot, and there's that line of dialogue. Oh, and I think that entire plot point got dropped. And Forrest Whitaker's trailer lines, and...
Number 8.
Okay, as I'm working on this top 10, this Transformers spin-off movie is not out yet, and it won't be for another 4 months, but I'm calling it early. That Bumblebee trailer is a complete and total lie. Hey, I'm like you. I would love a smaller, lower-scale movie that's about an alien robot Volkswagen Beetle and a young girl forming an unlikely bond. Kinda sorta like Hogarth and the Iron Giant. But go back and watch that Bumblebee teaser again shot by shot and tell me you can't easily see any of those scenes devolving to the exact same stupidity as the last 5 movies. Michael Bay fooled us once, he might have even fooled us twice, but he's getting real ambitious aiming for a 6th. I'll tell you one thing, he's not getting into my wallet again.
Number 7.
Get ready for one of the most dated trailers in this whole top 10. In 1999, one movie blew us away not only with its impressive and imaginative fight sequences, but with its revolutionary special effects. So, it was a no-brainer to give The Matrix a sequel, but The Matrix Reloaded was just... confusing.
Why am I here? You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably. Your life is the sum of answers you will understand, unbalanced equation inherent to the while it remains early, you are the eventuality of an anomaly which may or may not realize is outside of you, and is just later from what is other. Here. You haven't answered my question. Quite right.
Every time somebody opened up their stupid mouths, I could not for the life of me follow what the flip anyone was trying to say. Even that action scene where Neo fights a horde of Smiths just kind of ended once Neo flew away, which he could have just, done from the beginning. Why didn't he? Why didn't he just fly away at the beginning? But the trailer? Oh, the trailer didn't have any of those issues. 15 years later, I can watch this trailer and feel like I understand what The Matrix Reloaded is about. I I can get some cool action without the philosophical lectures that nobody can follow. That right there automatically makes the trailer so much better than the movie.
Number 6.
Working with American movie studios can be a humongous blessing. Without a gigantic budget, the world of Harry Potter never would have been as wonderfully realized as it was. But the same can't be said for American attempts at bringing Godzilla to Western audiences. Even though the 1998 Abomination had an amusingly cheesy trailer that left you dying to see what old Zilla looked like, well, I'm gonna put the teaser for the 2014 reboot here instead.
Your courage will never be more needed than it is today.
The Halo jumpers descending into a demolished city set to that haunting track from 2001 A Space Odyssey was intense, to say the least. And when they finally showed off the king of the monsters himself, it seemed like Legendary Pictures finally got it right. You couldn't wait to see this awesome Godzilla go on a rampage. And after you finally saw the movie, you basically felt the exact same way. Listen, the human plot lines in this movie weren't all that bad, but people go to monster movies for the freaking monsters. Every time Godzilla showed up to do some damage, the stupid movie cut away from the action. And even though the last fight almost makes up for it, I'm still bitter. 2019, don't fail us now.
Number 5.
I know this will sound really obvious, but trailers are supposed to be made in the style of the movie they're advertising. But in 2016, one movie was majorly reshot and re-edited to be made in the style of its trailer. The first time we caught a glimpse of Suicide Squad, it looked like another dreary, brown bummer of a movie about a world of superheroes. So, par for the course as far as DC movies at the time. But then, somebody edited a second trailer set to Bohemian Rhapsody, and suddenly everybody was like, I want to see that movie. There was just one problem. That movie didn't exist. Repurposing Suicide Squad into a quirky action-adventure comedy at the last minute didn't just cost Warner Brothers tens of millions of dollars, it completely broke the entire film. The trailers actually ruined the real movie. Who knows if we'll ever see David Ayer's original cut of the movie, but however good or bad that version would have been, it couldn't possibly have been as much of a mess as what we actually got. And also, why is the Joker in it for like 10 seconds? What's up with that?
God, if you weren't so crazy, I'd think you were insane.
Hey, you know what? Maybe that was a better choice after all.
Number 4.
Holy cow, what a trailer! The Secret Life of Walter Mitty wasn't really a bad movie, but the teaser trailer was practically a work of art. Without a single word spoken, without anything but the visual storytelling and music, this trailer told the story of Walter, a man whose imaginary adventures are way too big for the dungeon of an office he works in. I can't really think of a lot of trailers that instantly hook you on a character that way. The soundtrack and cinematography are immensely effective. I cannot overstate that. And yeah, you could obviously say all those things about the actual movie, but to quote the famous playwright Billy Shakes, brevity is the soul of wit. Basically, that just means that the less filler you have, the more impactful a movie or any creative work can be. The trailer for The Secret Life of Walter Mitty yanks your heartstrings in under 2 minutes without uttering a single word. But when you try stretching it out to 2 hours, it's not even remotely as effective.
Number 3.
Even at an age when I knew better than to fall for movie marketing, I still fell for Man of Steel's trailers. I'm not gonna rail on this movie too much because it's been beaten to the ground almost as bad as Metropolis and the film's climax. I had to get one in. But even if you're a fan of Steel, you've got to admit that it really feels like a movie that was made to be little more than a great trailer. The trailers promise a Superman story that's back to basics, one about self-discovery, heroics, and most of all, a story that's uplifting. Does any of that sound like Man of Steel to you? No, probably not. But I will say this, that Hans Zimmer Superman theme still gives me chills, and to this day, I want to believe in the movie these trailers tried to sell me. But in reality, I know that there's only a depressing, emotionally distant movie in the end. That sucks.
Number 2.
16 years. For 16 years, the world had gone without a new film in one of the most beloved series in cinematic history. But with one trailer, we were ready to embark on another journey. By today's standards, the teaser for Star Wars The Phantom Menace is really not all that great, but it still lands the number 2 spot for its sheer cultural impact. This was the teaser that made a whole generation believe in the Star Wars hype again. This was also the first movie that left a black mark on the Star Wars name forever. In 1999, that teaser's musical score hit everyone with a nostalgia bomb. Coupled with the strange new characters and landscapes, we were all left with a billion questions that we just had to pay the movie theater admission price to have answered. And the rest is history. But you know what, the teaser actually showed that part where Jar Jar shocks himself, so I guess we all kind of deserved it.
It's number 1.
We all know that The Last Airbender is one of the most reviled movies ever made, and that's not just the diehard Avatar fans talking. Really? That's what you think earthbending looks like? This movie was so terrible that most of you probably, and understandably, don't even remember the first teaser trailer for it.
He is the last of his kind. All that remains of a once powerful nation.
What is not to like about this? This teaser showed off some legit martial arts skills from a kid who, as far as we could tell at the time, had everything it took to be the perfect aim. Right down to that arrow on his head looking just right for a live-action adaptation. They even went a step further and showed the Fire Nation attacking. As brief as it was, the teaser felt completely faithful to the original cartoon, which is already a lot more than anyone can say about the final film. Out of everything on this list, this is by far the biggest distance between expectations set and expectations failed.
Bring me all your elderly!
The Last Airbender takes number 1 for having a practically flawless teaser based on one of the best animated shows of all time, and then turning out to be the biggest dumpster fire of a movie we've ever seen. For our secret number 11, some things really should just be trailers and not full movies. That's what I think literally any time the Asylum makes a movie with a shark in it. Remember when Sharknado's first trailer blew up on YouTube? Pretty silly, right? But as anyone who's actually seen those movies would say, the joke of a multi-headed shark stops being funny after about the length of a movie trailer anyway.